A silent political storm is already building ahead of 2027, and many Nigerians are beginning to believe that this election may become one of the most dramatic political battles the country has ever seen. What is making this conversation more serious is the fact that some politicians who once stood close to powerful political camps are now speaking differently, and the moment those voices started changing, Nigerians immediately paid attention. Peter Obi's name is once again dominating political discussions across the country. And this time, the conversation is becoming even more intense because people are no longer only talking about popularity. Now, people are talking about possibility. They are asking whether the current political situation in Nigeria is slowly creating the perfect opportunity for Obi to become stronger before 2027. And one thing is very clear right now. The economic hardship in the country has changed the political mood of many citizens. People are talking about food prices everywhere. Transport costs continue to affect families. Small business owners are struggling daily. Parents are finding it difficult to survive on the same income they once managed comfortably. Young Nigerians are frustrated about jobs, inflation, and the rising cost of living. These issues are now shaping political conversations in homes, markets, offices, schools, and online spaces every single day. This is why many political analysts believe the next election may not be based only on party loyalty. It may also depend heavily on who Nigerians believe can improve their daily lives. And because Peter Obi constantly speaks about economic management, production, reducing waste, and government accountability, many Nigerians are beginning to listen to him more carefully again. At the same time, President Bola Tinubu still controls the power of incumbency, and that remains a major advantage in Nigerian politics. Tinubu is not a weak politician. He is one of the most experienced political strategists Nigeria has ever seen. Many people close to APC believe that despite the current economic pain, Tinubu still has enough political structure, influence, and alliances across the country to remain very strong ahead of 2027. But this is where things become more interesting. The opposition itself is slowly changing shape. Some politicians inside PDP are unhappy. Some Labour Party supporters are demanding stronger organization. Smaller political groups are also trying to reposition themselves. Behind closed doors, meetings are happening quietly. Alliances are being discussed. Old enemies are suddenly speaking politely to each other again. And Nigerians know what that usually means in politics. It means preparations have already started. Now let's talk about Nyesom Wike, because his name keeps appearing inside these political conversations for a reason. Wike remains one of the most influential political figures in Nigeria today. Even people who disagree with him politically still admit that he understands power deeply. Since becoming part of Tinubu's government, Wike has continued to defend the administration strongly, while still maintaining influence around PDP politics. That situation has created confusion among many opposition supporters. Some people believe Wike is helping APC become stronger from inside the opposition space. Others believe he is simply protecting his political future. But one thing nobody can deny is this: whenever Wike speaks, Nigerian politics reacts immediately. And recently, when some political figures linked to his former camp began openly supporting Peter Obi or criticizing the direction of opposition politics, Nigerians started asking serious questions. People began wondering whether cracks are slowly appearing inside old political alliances. That alone increased political tension online. If you're enjoying this discussion already, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this 2027 political story is becoming deeper every week, and you do not want to miss the updates coming ahead. Keep watching, because what is happening behind the scenes may completely surprise many Nigerians before the next election arrives. One major reason Peter Obi remains politically relevant today is because his supporters never completely disappeared after 2023. Usually, after elections, political movements become weaker. But in Obi's case, many supporters stayed active online and offline. They continued discussing governance, leadership, corruption, debt, insecurity, and economic reforms long after the election ended. That is why anytime Obi speaks publicly now, social media reacts almost immediately. Some Nigerians believe he represents discipline and careful management of public resources. Others believe he still lacks the political structure needed to win nationally. But whether people support him or not, his name continues to remain central in national political discussions. Now here is another reason why this conversation is becoming bigger. Many Nigerians who did not support Peter Obi in 2023 are now paying attention to him because of the current hardship in the country. Some citizens feel disappointed about the economic situation and are beginning to reconsider opposition voices. In politics, this is very important because public frustration can change voter behavior quickly. But at the same time, APC supporters are also defending Tinubu strongly. They argue that reforms are painful at the beginning and that the administration needs more time to stabilize the economy. They believe Nigerians should be patient and allow government policies to fully work before judging the administration completely. So now the country is politically divided into different conversations. One group says Nigeria is suffering too much and needs a new direction. Another group says the reforms need time and patience. And somewhere inside all these arguments, politicians are already positioning themselves quietly for 2027. Now let us talk about something many people are whispering about privately: coalition politics. There are growing talks that opposition parties may eventually try to unite around one strong candidate before the next election. Nigerians understand something very important about elections. Once opposition parties divide themselves, the ruling party usually benefits. But if they unite properly, the election becomes far more competitive. This is why many political observers are watching meetings between opposition figures very carefully. Any small discussion now becomes headline news. Any handshake between politicians creates speculation. Any political statement immediately trends online. The political atmosphere is already heating up gradually. And another thing making this situation more dramatic is the rising political awareness among young Nigerians. Compared to previous generations, more young people are actively discussing governance now. Many first-time voters are paying close attention to economic policies and leadership decisions. Social media has also changed political communication completely. Politicians can no longer ignore public reactions the way they once did years ago. Now every statement is recorded, analyzed, debated, and shared instantly. This means politicians entering the 2027 race may face stronger public scrutiny than before. And trust me, Nigerians are watching carefully. Some citizens are already saying that 2027 may become a battle between political structure and public frustration. That statement alone explains why the coming election is already attracting national attention years before voting even begins. Because if hardship continues, opposition candidates may gain emotional support from frustrated citizens. But if the economy improves significantly before 2027, APC may regain stronger confidence from voters. That is why the next 2 years may completely shape the direction of the election. And this is where Peter Obi's strategy becomes very important. Many observers believe Obi is trying to maintain a calm public image while continuing to build relationships quietly across different regions. Unlike some politicians who constantly attack opponents aggressively, Obi often focuses his speeches on the economy, governance, production, and public spending. His supporters believe this approach makes him appear more presidential and disciplined. Meanwhile, APC supporters argue that leadership requires more than speeches and social media popularity. They insist national elections require deep political networks, state-by-state alliances, grassroots structures, and experienced political coordination. Honestly, both sides understand something important about Nigerian politics. Winning elections in Nigeria is never easy. Popularity alone is not enough. Structure alone is not enough either. A candidate usually needs strategy, alliances, public support, funding, organization, and strong regional balance. And that is why many people believe 2027 may become one of the hardest elections to predict. If you are still watching at this point, quickly like this video and subscribe, because this political story is only getting more serious. There are still many hidden angles Nigerians are discussing quietly, and you need to hear how these political moves may affect the future of the country. Now, another issue creating tension is the fear of internal crises inside opposition parties themselves. Labour Party has faced internal disagreements. PDP continues struggling with divisions between different camps. Smaller parties are trying to gain relevance again, and many Nigerians are asking one important question. Can the opposition truly stay united long enough to challenge APC strongly? Because unity has always been one of the biggest problems inside Nigerian opposition politics. Sometimes, politicians agree publicly, but secretly disagree privately. Sometimes, personal ambition destroys alliances. Sometimes, regional interests create conflict. Sometimes, party leadership disputes weaken momentum completely. And APC understands this very well. That is why many analysts believe the ruling party may benefit again if opposition parties fail to organize themselves properly before the election season becomes fully active. But despite all these complications, one thing is undeniable. Peter Obi still has strong emotional connection with many young Nigerians and urban voters. And in modern politics, emotional connection matters a lot. People support leaders they believe understand their pain. People support leaders they believe speak their language emotionally. People support leaders they believe represent change or hope. This is why Obi's supporters continue defending him passionately online every day. At the same time, Tinubu's supporters also strongly defend the administration, arguing that difficult economic reforms are necessary to rebuild Nigeria properly for the future. So both political camps remain highly active. And somewhere in the middle are millions of undecided Nigerians simply waiting to see who can genuinely improve their lives. That group may eventually decide the election. Because ordinary Nigerians are becoming more focused on practical survival now than political drama. People want stable prices. People want jobs. People want security. People want electricity. People want functioning healthcare and education. People want leaders who appear serious about solving problems. And whichever politician convinces the majority of Nigerians on these issues may eventually gain massive support before 2027. Another thing making this political story more interesting is how quickly alliances can change in Nigeria. Someone attacking another politician today may suddenly become their ally tomorrow. We have seen this happen many times before. Nigerian politics moves very fast. That is why political observers are paying close attention to every movement now. Every meeting matters. Every statement matters. Every defection matters. Every disagreement matters. Because small political signs today can become major national stories tomorrow. And trust me, more surprises are still coming. The closer Nigeria moves toward 2027, the more dramatic the political atmosphere may become. More politicians may switch camps. More alliances may form. more accusations may appear. More debates will happen on television and online. Citizens will become even more emotionally invested in political conversations. And through all this noise, one major battle will remain at the center of everything. Who can truly convince Nigerians that they can handle the economy better and improve daily life across the country? That may become the biggest deciding factor of the entire election. Because Nigerians are tired of promises without visible improvement. Now pause for a second and think deeply about this situation. Imagine if opposition parties eventually unite strongly behind one candidate. Imagine if economic hardship continues. Imagine if voter turnout increases massively among young people. Imagine if political alliances suddenly change unexpectedly. That alone could completely reshape the political map of Nigeria before 2027. But on the other side, imagine if the economy improves significantly. Imagine if APC strengthens its political structure further. Imagine if opposition parties remain divided. Imagine if government projects begin showing stronger results before the election period. That could also change public opinion heavily in favor of the ruling party. This is why the race is still wide open. And honestly, this political story is far from over. The next months may bring major surprises Nigerians are not even expecting yet. Politicians are calculating carefully already. Meetings are happening quietly. Strategies are being designed silently. And while many citizens are focused on daily survival, political leaders are already preparing for one of the most important elections in Nigeria's modern history.